as many as 1 in 20 U.S. kids harmed by alcohol in the womb, study says.
More children have been affected by drinking during pregnancy than previously thought, according to a study published Tuesday in the Journal of the American Medical Association.
Up to 1 in 20 American kids falls somewhere on the spectrum of disorders caused by maternal drinking, according to the study's more conservative estimate.
But that number could be as many as 1 in 10. Using another, fetal alcohol spectrum disorders are a group of conditions that may include abnormal growth and facial features, intellectual disabilities and behavioral problems, according to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
We have long thought and believed that estimates that we had previously in the U.S. were pretty gross underestimates, said Christina Chambers, one of the study's authors and a professor of pediatrics at the University of California, San Diego School of Medicine. It's not an easy disorder to recognize.
Chambers and her colleagues say their results may be closer to reality than earlier studies.
A commonly accepted estimate in the U.S. is a prevalence of 1 in 100, the authors say, which is on par with the lower end of their study's findings.
But the new study's higher numbers were met with criticism from other experts, including Susan Astley, director of the Fetal Alcohol Syndrome Diagnostic and Prevention Network at the University of Washington.
I don't have a very high regard for the numbers, said Astley, who also teaches epidemiology and pediatrics at the University of Washington.
I'm very disappointed to see this featured in the likes of JAMA.
Astley said the new study both overestimates and underestimates the prevalence in different ways, largely due to how the data were collected.
She said she doesn't know whether the true prevalence is higher than previously thought, but stressed that more research was needed. It's absolutely clear we need accurate estimates of this.
In my opinion, we don't currently have that, she said.
A closer look.
About 1 in 10 pregnant women in the United States, ages 18 to 44, reports having at least one alcoholic beverage in the past 30 days while pregnant, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention.
Those numbers have not been going down, Chambers said.
We haven't done a very good job in turning the tide on that.
In other countries, that number is considerably higher. One study found that rates of alcohol use during pregnancy were between 40% and 80% in the UK, Australia and New Zealand.
The new study sent experts to public and private schools in 4 U.S. communities to test students for cognitive and behavioral problems, to interview mothers about their alcohol use and to analyze the children's growth and facial features.
The authors note that, though they consider these sites to be diverse areas of the United States, they may not be representative of the country as a whole.
They categorize 222 first graders with fetal alcohol spectrum disorders out of thousands who participated.
Only 2 of these students had been previously diagnosed with such a disorder.
Previous research has illustrated how many children who fall on this spectrum, Perhaps the majority of them are not diagnosed correctly or at all.
Some researchers have praised Chambers and her colleagues for sending trained experts into communities to collect the data, using a method that is known as the most reliable approach for estimating the prevalence of fetal alcohol spectrum disorders, according to a commentary published alongside the study by 3 researchers who have looked at these disorders on a global scale.
Astley disagrees, saying schools are the wrong place to do it.
Screening for fetal alcohol spectrum disorders isn't like screening for scoliosis, Astley said, describing the stigma that might cause parents to not participate in the study.
It's difficult to just start asking moms and dads about their drinking. In some cases, there are families that know their child has been struggling, Chambers said, adding that finally having an answer can be a relief in some cases.
In others, you have to deal with, is this something that I could have potentially contributed to?
Chambers and her colleagues note that not all students were given consent to participate. Overall, roughly 60% did. Who are those 40%?
Why are they choosing not to participate?
Astley asked.
No one would contest that it's the folks at highest risk.